Things Fall Apart, pages 51 to 75, guide and tour. The picture is of the Niger River in the Niger River Basin during the rainy season. Incredibly green, dense rainforest type area. So, the bride price. Surprisingly, there are still people who are honoring the African tradition of a woman's bride price. Short story to it. In most African countries, paying the bride price is an ancient custom, still practiced today. Some say it's fair compensation for what the family invested in her, while some men take it as a mark of their manhood because I was able to pay for my wife to buy her bride price. In case of divorce, the man has the right over the children of that union as he paid the bride price, so I guess he paid for the kids. And critics say that it commoditizes women, binding them to a lifelong commitment without consent. There's a lot of to do back and forth with bride price. I thought it was interesting that the tradition is still going on today. This was updated January 31, 2020. So it's interesting that they still do that. We also have the Ozo title. This is another one that's a bit of a surprise. They still have the Ozo title going on, at least this article as of the 2014, relatively recently. You can notice that they are in a house with drywall, nice modern dwelling, but we still have the Ozo title going on where they are still offering it for various things. An Igbo man to become an Ozo title holder, he must be wealthy. The fact gave rise to the Igbo saying that goes as follows: Ichi Ozo bu maka ndi ogadagidi, which literally means taking the Ozo title is an affair for the high and mighty. And it was valued, the amount of money and etc. was a big deal. All kinds of stuff still going on with Ozo, and it's still part of a lot of different cultures. The Jigida. So this is the African waist beads. This one might not be as surprising that this is still a style that people still use. It will say someplace in here, these days only a few people maintain the culture of adorning the beads daily, but a vast majority are likely to put them on during special occasions. So people are still using the waist beads. I think the ones that were described were more like this, where if you broke it, there was an awful lot of beads were lost. This one, they're a little bit bigger. But that's the idea, a little bit of the jewelry that they were wearing. Jigida. African funeral ceremony. This. Okay, this one's interesting. We're going to watch a few seconds of this. Okay, so what we have here that we're going to read a little bit more about coming up is we've got people carrying guns, setting off gunfire, dancing, singing. It's a little bit more upbeat. It's not sad crying. That happens. There are actually paid mourners whose job it is to mourn and cry. But when we have a great warrior who dies, things are going to be a lot different. It's going to be a little bit more wild. The warriors are going to run around and salute each other with a clash of machetes and fire guns and do all sorts of stuff. Their funerals are not like our funerals. Nowhere near similar grieving rituals at all. Okay. Moving along, the Iba cure. Surprisingly, we ran into. I was like, "Oh, it can't be. Is it really? Do they have? They actually found the cure to Ebola that they used in the out in the African deserts and out in the backwoods in the countries?" And no, they couldn't have it. Well, actually, they do. I wasn't sure until I scrolled down a little bit. They're saying that Ebola is actually malaria, which is caused by a mosquito bite, and then you get infected, filled with little worms, and they fill up the body with worms, and it's very difficult to manage in any way, especially when you're out in the back. We'll call it the woods. When we're back there in the woods, it's and we don't have that modern medical. So this is where I really was convinced. Um, this one is the application. Let's see. The leaves should be washed to remove foreign properties. Boil the leaves in water for 10 to 15 minutes with a high quantity of clean water. Part of the decoction should be kept separate for oral administration. So they're going to drink some of it. The remaining part should be kept in a bowl while still hot, and the patient should face the bowl in a sitting position. The patient and the bowl should be fully covered with an airtight blanket for like 5 minutes to ensure he or she sweat profusely. The concoction should be used to bath when cold. So this sounds very similar to what Okonkwo made, and it looks like it's Stoolwood, Yoruba, and let's see, we've got Neem. I'm not sure exactly what that is, and then some mistletoe. So it's basically he's got three main ingredients chopped up in there that they boil and they turn it into the uh, the cure for Ebola that we read about. Moving along, we have broken heart syndrome. Broken heart syndrome. This is from the Mayo Clinic. I wanted to go directly to something real legitimate if I was going to do it. Broken heart syndrome is a temporary heart condition that's often brought on by stressful situations and extreme emotions. The condition can be triggered by a serious physical injury or surgery. It may be called stress cardiomyopathy, um, Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, or apical ballooning syndrome. People with broken heart syndrome may have sudden chest pain or think they're having a heart attack. Broken heart syndrome affects just part of the heart, temporarily disrupting your heart's normal pumping function. The rest of the heart continues to function normally or may even have more forceful contractions. So as we read on, you just got to get to a doctor, etc. And there's a bunch of causes, death of a loved one, and etc. There are risk factors and complications. So what they mentioned though that surprised me, how is broken heart syndrome different from a heart attack? Heart attacks are caused by complete or near complete blockage of the heart artery, and usually due to a blood clot forming at the site of narrowing from fatty buildup in the wall of the artery. In broken heart syndrome, the heart arteries are not blocked, although blood in the arteries may be reduced. And then the strange part is that, let's see, it says in rare cases, there it is, broken heart syndrome is fatal. So I think that was one of the rare cases that we read about. Broken heart syndrome that actually resulted in a death. And then we've got some traditional African tribal masks coming from the scene where court is about to start. They are amazing. I would love to own any of them. They're just incredible artwork. What they've put into them, the carvings. I like the big ones that are traditional like this, oversized. They're really interesting. I'd like to have that, but I also like the really intricate ones that look like you might wear them a little bit more comfortably. There's so many. And if you want to see some amazing African masks, you just type in traditional Nigerian tribal masks. They really were the people who had the amazing masks. That's it for the tour and guide for this small section that we are currently working on, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. 25 pages, really good stuff coming up.